Welcome to the Jira Life, the place to find news, events, and interviews with the Atlassian community's movers and shakers. Join our hosts, Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz, and Rodney, the Jira Guy Nissen, as well as the Jira Amigos in the Peanut Gallery, as we sit down and discuss the latest going on in the Atlassian ecosystem. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life, the Jira Life chose us.
Hello, hello.
Greetings.
Hello.
It is.
We have the OG in the house.
We do.
Doesn't get better than that.
Yeah. Matt's here. First, before I go on, why don't you do a quick introduction, Matt?
Oh, I'm Matt, and I don't usually unblur my background, so you're all getting a first world review introduction into my front room. San Jose, California. It's kind of a bit gray outside. I think it's going to rain
give us the
again
rest
later.
of your address. We'll show up for tea time in a few hours.
Is that right? Oh dear. Yeah, I was debating, is this a promotion from the Peanut Gallery or something else? I'm not sure, but I'm here.
Looks like you have some fans. That's all I hear. You have fans.
We'll see how many are still there of I like that one more of Doar. There's some joke in there about one does not simply talk to Moore or Matt Doar or Matador or something. More Doar.
That would have been a much better title for this week's episode.
Oh, well, there you go. Save it for the next one.
What we should be doing is we should be crowdsourcing the titles of future episodes.
We should.
Yeah,
we have the guest list for like the next month or two. So if anybody wants to give us recommendation tips for what we should title our next episodes, let us know.
But if you don't know Matt, his humbleness is renowned, but also his stature. He is one of the OG Atlassian admins. He was in there giving team or at summit talks when I was just starting up. So
it's been a while.
Yeah.
And I got to meet you in person.
We did. That's right. Up in the San Francisco Atlassian offices. I even got myself a little San Francisco office sticker for my laptop. I don't know if
there were stickers. I didn't get a sticker.
I know. Next time, come by. We'll
gotta collect them, man. I got an Amsterdam one from a Jira Day over in Poland.
Ah.
Look at that. Look at our producer here being proactive.
Yeah.
We have an up-and-coming rising star. So we're going to go from OG to new G in a matter of a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the problem with Precipio, I've just got one problem. It's that I can't spell a name. I keep messing it up.
I don't even try. I'm going to be honest. I don't even try. And that's in spite of the fact that all my former Coyote Creek compatriots are now over there.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's PR, a bunch of all letters, and IO at the end.
Yeah.
I guess it would be very important to be able to pronounce the name of your company if you worked there.
Yeah.
I worked at Northrop Grumman. We just called it NG. 2 letters.
I thought you just called yourself Grummies.
That's our Grumpies is our new name, but yeah, that was just our little code word. Because every aircraft has a code word, right? So, but Matt, I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm missing out though because I wasn't around for the OG to appreciate the OG-ness of your majesties.
You're making me feel very old. It's when people say things like legendary or when my wife says I'm looking distinguished, and that just means I'm looking grayer. My hair has got grayer and shorter. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been 20 years, 20 years basically in the community. And I don't know where to start. I mean, I've got some notes written down, but I thought there was a bunch of other stuff that you wanted to get to first.
I mean, we could
Rodney
talk
always
about
has an agenda, and I'm always here to disrupt it.
Oh, I see. That's your different roles. Rodney creates the agenda, and Alex fails to follow. Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've had
I
customers.
mean,
like
we have a script, but it's more like a suggestion. It's not really a script.
Well, in 10 to 15 minutes, Matt, start thinking about taking us down memory lane.
15 minutes. Oh, no chance am I going to talk about myself for 15 minutes,
No,
please.
in 15 minutes.
Oh,
you'll
in
start.
15 minutes. Oh,
Then
yeah.
you'll
Okay.
have 45 minutes to talk about yourself.
No, I don't think so.
We'll figure it
All right.
out.
I'm prepped. I'm good.
All right. Kick us off, Rodney.
All right. Well, we're actually going to try and follow script today, which means we're going to talk about some news. If I can remember how to use StreamYard for a second. We're going to start with Atlassian's latest announcement this week, which is DevX enhancements to Bitbucket, Jira, and Compass.
Hold up. Susie Prince, is she who replaced Justine? Or no?
No, this is Atlassian, head of DevOps.
I know, but wasn't that what Justine did? Davis?
Nah.
What did she do? I'm going to miss her. I can't believe she left. That's news in itself. We didn't acknowledge that.
I don't think she left. I think
What are
maybe...
you talking about? She's over at Postmate or Postman.
I haven't been keeping up then.
She was product marketing for Agile and Dev. Okay, so most of the words were in there, Robert.
Yeah, head of product is a lot different role. Think your PMs.
Never mind. I take it back. But I'm still, in case you didn't know, Justine left. She started at Postman last week. I'm going to miss her on stage this year.
Yeah. I got to talk to her at the community leader dinner last year at Team. Yeah, they are having some changes over here. The goal here is the number one killer for developer productivity is context switching. I've been there. I know a lot of developers have, where you have to track the code or do your code in your IDE. Then you have to make your branch over in Bitbucket to be able to actually upload it. Then you have to update your ticket in Jira. And the idea here is, let's get all these things a little more talky to each other, a lot less I have to do everything in all the different tools. So it's using Compass is kind of the core there, but yeah.
So I'm going to throw a contrary opinion in on this. I don't mind multitasking and context switching if there's just a few tools that I'm context switching. Like I'm in my old school editor and I jump to a Jira and maybe I get into GitHub or something like that. But more than that, yeah, I agree. But I think this idea that there's going to be one true place to do all your work in is probably optimistic. I don't think we're ever going to quite reach that.
Not only that, but it's not configured out of the box, right? So Atlassian opted you into this, right? Like, so if you try to use components in Jira today, you're going to be greeted with a nice little blank page that basically says nothing unless you have the components already inside of Compass, which I don't know a whole lot of teams that are using Compass. So now you have to opt out of it or get yourself into Compass and figure that all out. And that's not something you can do in 10 minutes, right? Because the components, there's so much that goes into it. It's not just like, hey, let's throw up you get a component, here's a component, there's a component, right? Like you got to go into the code base and modify files and add files and do a bunch of work just to get the components to get into Compass, which then flow into Jira. So this is not like a thing that can be done overnight, and definitely not something that Atlassian should have opted everybody into.
So you have opinions.
I hate the new trend that Atlassian's going into.
Or you mean the we've just done it, suck it up and get used to it approach.
And my favorite though is they throw you into it, and when you when you change your mind, right, when you go back to where it was, they hit you with a nice little pop-up. But why are you leaving? We want to know. So I put some nice comments in each one every single time I get it for every project. I'm like, 'cause this sucks.
So, yeah, that was their new announcement this week. To be honest, I have not been following this one. I've been a little bit heads down with some other tasks, trying to get stuff figured out for Team 24. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's their big new announcement this week. We also have a new
Just real
cert.
quickly, well, hold on, real quickly though. Like, I appreciate what they're doing, right? I think at the root, Jira is a software tool, software development PM tool, right? And so I appreciate the cohesiveness that they're creating for software development. I don't appreciate the execution of it, but I can appreciate what they're trying to do in the picture they're trying to paint. I just don't know. I think William here had the right comment. I don't know if it was broken. I don't know if it needed to be
I'm
fixed.
going to be honest. When I'm developing, which I'm not a developer anymore, I haven't been for a while. Not even sure I would ever call myself really a developer. But when I'm in development mindset, if I have to go outside VS Code to do something, it's not likely to be done. So if I can't create my branch from VS Code, or if I can't do this, that, or the other, I'm just likely to skip that step and submit something directly to master branch. Thankfully, it's all my own repositories that don't matter at the end of the day, so I can do that. But I think that's really the goal here, is to prevent that situation.
But again, applaud them for what they're doing. I just think it's going to take some adoption because it's not transparent, right? There is some lifting you got to do. And I mean, as admins, we barely have enough time to just do the normal day-to-day stuff, let alone learn a whole new feature set here.
Yeah. I mean, let's put any change in context as well. For the next 6 weeks, it's all 5 weeks. It's all about this is the build up to team, the big annual demo. There's got to be a lot of changes coming. Like the weekly list of changes that came out for all the Atlassian cloud stuff, it's double the size as usual. So it is just that time of year.
Yeah, they're getting all the things out so they can have these nice big announcements for the keynote.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was going to say, but I kind of like let's make the announcements and then drop the features, not drop the features then make the announcements.
Oh, you don't like and it's available today.
No, I mean, I like that it's available today, but I want to go home that day and apply, not use it for the last 6 weeks and got blindsided by it.
Yeah.
On to the certs.
Yeah, we got a new one. It's associate level, but it's the Atlassian Cloud Foundations. A lot of people I know ask me, I know they ask you the same thing, Alex, because I see your comment section. How do I get started as an Atlassian admin? I think this is now where I'm going to tell them step 0. Work on gaining this one.
What level is it aimed at? Is it like somebody with a year's experience, or?
I think the ACAs are take a class and then be able to do it. I think they're more. I think it's really starter level.
Good.
That's for the beginners of the beginners.
We haven't had that before.
Yeah, we've had the I guess the makers of the test be on here, and ACAs had just come out. Now they don't carry the same prestige, and I don't know that they carry the same benefits either, but it's a nice little paperweight to get on there.
It's a step. It's a start. Good start.
I mean, I know for a fact that before now, if you really want to start out as a Jira admin, there wasn't a lot of sources out there. I mean, there were a few YouTube channels, not going to mention who. There's maybe a blog or two out there, again, not going to mention who. And there's a bunch of official stuff from Atlassian, but until, I mean, that's still a thing you have to pay for. There's not really a lot going on there. So having something like this where it's like, look, I did something, I can prove I did something, I think is a good first step.
Yeah, but this one feels like a foundational level thing like that. That should be like a badge. That should be something you do for free.
I mean, the skill badges are a whole nother thing. I'm like, I didn't see the value when they were $50. I don't see the value now that they're $25. And even if they're free, I'm like, this is stuff that you should already know how to do for the skill badges.
But look at that. Bottom line means passing the search means you're proving. I don't know. I think companies are still like, nobody ever asked me for my ACPs, let alone now an ACA. Like, I don't think
Well,
I
I
don't think
think you specifically, Alex, are somewhat of a special case where you've already proven your know-how.
Yeah, if you're just
Is that-
hiring somebody off the street, just off LinkedIn, then sure. It's it's
So
anything
Matt,
to
if you were to start
distinguish
your
you.
own company, you would ask for an ACP right now or an ACA?
I wouldn't require, but I would be asking. I'd be saying, show me your involvement in Atlassian, and certs are one of the ways you show that.
Looks like the-
Here's a comment. But you get, are you a certified newbie? And I believe yes, you are.
I mean, this is all just a smear of Atlassian over what really counts, which is that somebody's taken the tool and played with it. Whatever the tool is, even outside Atlassian, unless somebody's got themselves a small free copy of it and played it to death and understands it, then all of the certificates in the world aren't going to prove that they're any use to you.
I mean, when I did interviews for junior admins, I would take a clean instance of Jira. I could do some configurations on it, mess some things up intentionally, and then I give them tickets and see what they did.
Right.
Because you can tell a lot more when someone's on an instance than you can ever from, oh, they have this test or that test.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I had asked I'm blanking on the names right now. Help me. I know I was just talking to one of them right now because of the certification. Who are the two test ladies? Bob, help me. Put it in
Joanne.
But I was telling them that Atlassian should have like a practicum, right? Because in the cybersecurity world, some of the certifications are theoretical. Marie and Joanna, there you go. Yeah. I was asking Marie and Joanna about like a practicum type of thing because, like I was saying, in cybersecurity, we have like, hey, what's this port for? What's that port for? And stuff like that. But there's a certification that you are like under the gun, right? Like you got a system, it got hacked, you got to figure it out, and then you got to fix it as part of your certification. So I think that would be kind of cool.
I mean, Cisco certs, the high level ones are the same way. You get a bunch of blank equipment fresh out of the blocks, and you've got to configure a whole network to spec.
And they cost more because it's harder to judge them, to measure them. Yeah.
But I would love to see whatever replaces the expert level certification be something practical like that. Yeah, you have to ante up some dollars because it's going to be difficult to proctor, but you're actually proving on a system you know your stuff.
Imagine if there was a yearly event that you could go to.
No, right?
That would be one I would want to take in person and
Yes, that's a good comment from Andy there. Technical knowledge and knowledge certs.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the certs now, they're really good about sussing out, do you know the core material? Do you understand the concepts behind it? But if you know how to take them, they all get easier once you have them figured out.
I'm just not a fan of paper tigers.
Yeah, I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I keep saying bigger, harder tests for the replacement for the expert levels. I guess, and nobody's there with me.
No, you've got to write them. It's tough.
If you want bigger, harder tests, you got to come over to the Quiz Whiz season 3. That'll be where the true challenge is.
I'm still happy with my second place. I know it's not first. I'm a little disappointed it's not first, but I'm still happy with it.
Technically, aren't you like third place?
No.
Maybe even fourth?
No, I'm still second.
I don't know. I kind of feel like it'd be like Nikki then Ed. Or Ed then Nikki. I don't know who got more right. And
no, it's team. It's a team effort. So it's a Nikki, Ed as one team, and then me and Bob as one team.
Yeah,
they don't stack within the team.
Even within a team, it should have been ranked.
So where would you rank it then, Alex?
I don't know, 7th, 8th. Freaking Boo Boo screwed me over. If I ever find that Boo Boo kid, man, I swear I'm gonna have a word with him. Dear. Boo Boo, if you're watching, you better not be at teams. I will hunt you down. What's next on the news?
All right, new setting. Control who can add third-party sources. I have a feeling this one is leading up into their effort for FedRAMP government contracts.
But this looks like it's specific to Atlassian Analytics.
Yeah.
Nobody I know is using analytics. But I'm finding out that Atlassian's got a super sweet spot for the enterprise folk, except for me.
Oh, well, yeah, they make more money.
Well, my saga continues. I have an enterprise account, and I'm like, maybe I don't know.
I haven't
24
heard the
away.
latest in your saga. I know you've been heads down with it because
I'm
trying
24
to
hours
get your
away
response
from
to anything on Slack has been fun.
Yeah, no, I'm like 24 hours away from potentially violating one of Atlassian's, or Atlassian violating one of their core values. We'll find out.
I won't comment on that in particular, but everyone knows I have opinions.
I didn't have opinions, but I'm now getting opinions. Jimmy, you're getting out analytics soon. I'll say a prayer for you. I was in there when it was in beta. I had the product team in weekly calls with me. There's not enough PhDs in the world that you could earn in order to know how to use this dumb thing.
I think AI was primarily developed so we could use analytics.
It is like the hardest freaking thing to use ever. Period.
I mean, I'm still not entirely sold on this whole AI revolution as being legit, but just being able to ask plain question and have it translated to an analytics query for me, when they demonstrated that last year at Teams, that was big.
Yeah, but here we're 11 months later and we still don't have it.
Oh, no. We're going to see all sorts of AI in 5 weeks, 4 weeks about create this JQL, create this Groovy, create this everything. If there's a configuration out there, somebody will be writing AI to do it for us.
If not, Atlassian themselves, definitely in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they can do something and make it easy to use, because as of right now, the way analytics stands that's a heavy paperweight.
Mm-hmm.
I was just noticing Kevin Minnick is the name of the fellow who on this, and I thought it said Kevin Mitnick. You know, Kevin Mitnick, the original.
I thought it said Mitnick for a second too, and I'm like, wait, didn't he pass away?
I'm like, wow, is he an Atlassian now? That's some serious heavyweight lift hiring.
Actually, I think he passed away recently due to heart troubles.
I think he did. Yeah.
So that would be really
Come
impressive.
back as an Atlassian employee. Oof. All right, I'll stop talking there.
But yeah, this one, I mean, analytics, I haven't seen it really be totally embraced. Most people, if they're doing any sort of BI, it's still using one of the marketplace tools.
Yeah.
Moving on. Speaking of AI, AI-powered request type and field suggestions for JSM Cloud.
Fair enough. So, if it works, if it's useful, great.
I mean, I know I've been in situations when I'm at a new company and I'm like, I just want to submit a ticket to get whatever. I don't want to navigate through their big tree of this JSM portal. I just want to be able to say, I need a blank and have it go where I need it. So if they can solve that
on this one.
I mean, I'm not convinced about this AI revolution, as I just said. I've been doing some reading up on it here lately, and it's like, yeah, but how do we make that next step from where we are to where everyone's saying it's going to be, and I'm just not seeing it. Definitely not with Atlassian. I still got questions where they're getting their data from for training.
This comment from Bob makes more sense to me, because the way I was interpreting this was like based on the user's needs, like it would help route it to the correct request type.
That would make a lot more sense to me than if you're an admin and you need help, you need to do more research before doing an implementation.
But the problem I usually see with the admins, right? They're trying to please everyone and you please nobody, right? Like you got to follow the KISS principle when it comes to your request forms, because the more overwhelming that what's that term? Analysis paralysis, right? Like you give the user so many freaking options, they're just gonna pick something just to get through.
And it's 9 times out of 10 going to be wrong.
I say 99 times out of 100, I'd be wrong.
I think for me, 2004 and AI, it's like we're just going to spray everything in this big AI paint, and then we're going to see which bits stick and which bits get washed off.
But you need to, right? You need to, because Wall Street's waiting for it. If you don't put it, then Wall Street punishes you.
Yeah.
So we'll have this same conversation next year, and it'll be interesting to see what stuck and what didn't.
My favorite part was last year. There was quite a few companies outside and the vendors that were like AI this and AI that, and it was cool. Then you walked into the keynote, and then you walked out, and they're like, "What happens to you now after what Atlassian announced?"
Well, I mean, I wrote an article about 2-3 weeks before Teams saying, "Hey, this ChatGPT is new. Here are some things you could practically do with the day-to-day." And I remember some of the people on the creator team going, "Are you sure you haven't been spying on our keynote?" They didn't say it in so many words, but it was easy to read between the lines to get that meaning.
You know, Will over here is huge on AI. I'm for AI. I appreciate it. I just don't think AI is ready to deal with dumb people yet.
Oh, well, we're never ready for that. I mean,
so,
no algorithm.
But it doesn't help.
Genuine intelligence isn't ready for that. So how is artificial supposed to handle it?
Right. So that's why that's where my argument is. Like, it doesn't help me because my day-to-day is interpreting the dumb things that people ask me.
But if you could have a tool that filters out 80% of your thinking about the dumb things, so you can just, it's going to give you some suggestion, and then you still have to go through it and go, yeah, that was good. That's a good point. Yeah,
I don't know.
That's rubbish.
I tell people this is a common thing that I do when I jump on a call to help somebody with Jira. Right? I spent 12 to 14 hours a day in Jira answering questions from comments from everywhere. Right? The whole world comes at me with Jira questions. I'm like my mini community.atlassian.com. Right? No two questions in the last 2 years that I've been doing this have ever been the same.
But they've been related there because you're like, I'm sure I answered that one before. Didn't I answer similar stuff?
I've never once have felt that way. I've never had a repeat.
Wow.
Are you sure you haven't had multiple of the? I want another done status, but I want this one to be all lowercase.
Yeah. I'll give it to you this way, Matt. Multiple questions usually have the same answer, but the questions are always asked to me in different ways that they're not really related until the answer.
Well, yeah, every question has its own specifics, but the underlying concerns must be similar if you're giving them similar answers, I would think.
I would think too, but the questions are always unique enough.
Oh, I know what's happening. It's the questions are being created by an AI out there. It's a bot generating the questions to test your humanity, see if you're actually human.
That's what we need to do, right? We just need to have AI ask the AI questions.
Oh yes, Jimmy, I love your comment. The done syndrome, where people's status names just repeat the word done, and then the Beethoven. I've got to make the Beethoven joke. You know the Beethoven joke, the Jira status that's called done.
I was just having this conversation with somebody on my team. They're like, "Hey," she literally called me up and she's like, "Hey, what's the difference between done and go live?"
Oh,
don't even go there with me because that is
make it up. Everyone else
done
does.
Or closed is the one I have a similar flavor one, but it's usually done and closed. What's the difference between those two?
Closed has to match open, right? If your first thing is open, then the last one has to be closed. If it's to do, then it has to be done. They're like matching bookends, opposites.
Look at that, Matt, coming at us with some guidance here. I never thought about it that way, but that makes so much freaking sense.
Right.
Typically, I went with it means our company needs to standardize our nomenclature.
There were two people talking there. I've only got two ears.
Go ahead, Ronnie, you go first.
I typically took that to mean what actually is the problem is company needs to standardize on this common nomenclature. We need to either say everything's to do, done, or everything needs to be open, closed.
Yeah, sure. Nobody's going to listen to us, so that's okay. because they're all going to
no
see.
one has listened to me all these years, but I
That's
still
right.
say
People are
it.
going to want to paint their bike shed the color they want to paint it, so that's okay. I think the most common one I get is, oh, but at my previous company we always had open and done, and so I want to have open and done now in our workflow. And you're like, sure, whatever.
I'm like, are you at your previous company?
No, who's paying the money? Yeah. Ooh.
They never like that answer. Alex, you were saying though?
I forgot. I was just simply saying that because he was saying that open has closed and to do has done, but the Kanban workflow is backlog as the first status. So what do you got for your backlog?
Oh, that's
Front logged.
it's just to do, but we haven't decided when we're going to do it. Potentially to do, maybe.
Are we sure it's not front logged?
Oh, I guess I like that.
All right. So that's actually the news we have for today. That being said, I keep looking over at Matt, and his every time I look over, his tagline keeps changing.
Yeah, I just don't want to be pigeonholed. I'll define my own boxes. Put me in.
But yeah, Matt, it's awesome to have you.
Well, thank you for having me. It's fun because it's been a big change. Last time I came on, it was 6 months ago, 5 months ago.
Yeah, and you've went through some big changes since then.
Boy, did I! Yeah, I had that career first experience of being laid off, which was.
And we caught it right there when it happened. We were there.
What a shock! I got it. Looking back, there were 24 hours where I was like, "Man, that's really personal. That's a real punch to the gut." And then
did they not know that they had the OG in their presence?
Doesn't matter. It's all about.
I mean, it's corporate world. It don't matter.
You're trading off the budget you're spending on somebody and the quality of service you're providing to your employees. And when the time comes to crunch the budget, cut out the expensive people. So
yeah.
So start with the CEO.
Oh, we're being recorded, aren't we? Oh, yes, we are. No, I'm not going to say anything at all. Anyway, so that was exciting. And then, yeah, I know. Actually, there's a funny little checkbox when you change your position in LinkedIn and say you're at a new thing. It says, check this box if LinkedIn helped you find this job. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I did. So
you could say that.
I could say that. So about 5 months later, I've started at the end of January with Adaptivist. So another big original partner. About 1,000 people now, still UK based, but all over the world, like 18 different countries. And there's only 2 of us in Silicon Valley. So I feel like I'm an early pioneer for the West Coast, this part of the West Coast anyway. There's plenty of people below me and above me, but just me and a fellow called oh my goodness, Lee. Why I'm spacing on your first name, I don't know. But anyway, he'll catch me on that.
So,
yeah. So that's been a exciting 5 months.
We got a
and I believe you got to pick your own title this time, if I'm right.
I did. Andy Lee is the name of the other fellow. Yeah. So actually, that's another funny story. The Adaptivist chose it for me, so I'm now the head toolsmith. Exactly. Thank you, Bob. And at the moment, it means that somebody who just pokes their nose into all different parts of the company and asks goofy questions and have you thought about this? And so, yeah, I'm commenting in the consult Slack channel, and then doing all sorts of other sort of odd tasks that range across a big company. Because the way that, thank you, made available. Lovely.
All about
like that word.
Right? All about perspective.
Yes, I was given an opportunity to redirect my working hours, and I took it. Actually, to be fair, LinkedIn did a decent package, so no complaints there. The people I feel hardest for are the ones who are on H-1Bs, which is the US visa.
Yeah,
you get 60 days to find a new job, or you're out of the country.
That was across all of Silicon Valley for the last 18 months.
It's
Yeah.
brutal because you've
Almost-
got your
almost
family
2
here,
years.
you've got your kids in school. Suddenly, there's a corporate decision, and you're like, so
And
Yeah.
then nobody's hiring. 'Cause
right.
every
So
tech
then you're faced
company
with the
got
move.
hit.
I know a bunch of people went to Canada or using Canadian visas, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, tough times.
Yeah, it was-
So I have a lot of understanding, a lot more understanding and sympathy than I did, say, a year ago. But I'm hoping that won't be happening again too soon. Adaptive seems to be growing well. They've been acquiring companies, if you've seen the news, so all sorts of different practices and areas and global locations, which makes for an interesting time. I would almost say it's hypergrowth, actually, at the moment, because they've gone from 200 to 1,000 in 18 months, 2 years. So that's a pretty steep learning curve for everybody. And of course, one of the interesting things is having worked with other companies that have gone through this hypergrowth and watching how they change their internal tooling. It's a fascinating time to be involved because it's everybody's looking for the magic wand and just solve the problem right now. But everything takes time. Corporate change, culture change takes time. So yeah.
So what are you most excited about in this new gig? Like what kind of
Oh, the
influence
people.
or
Actually, you know what the funniest thing is? Working with people with English accents. Because for years I've been like, oh, go on a customer call and I'm the only Brit there, and sort of sound different. And now I'm like, wait, there's a room full of these people and they all sound like me.
my people?
Yeah, and they get my jokes. Well, no, they don't laugh because they're not that funny. But
That's how I felt. I lived in St. Louis, Missouri for like 31 months, and St. Louis has a population of 49% white, 49% black, and 2% everything else. And I felt so out of place.
yeah,
And then I came back to San Diego, and I was like, everything's in Spanish again. I love it.
yeah, this kind of stuff for sure. So that's the small but pleasurable stuff. And then the other stuff that's really great that I am looking forward to is working with people who I've known for years. A number of the senior Adaptivist people I've known since before they joined Adaptivist, often through Atlassian summits, Team 24, Team whatever it was. And that's, I've always enjoyed drinking with them at the different parties, and boy, do they have some good parties. So, yeah.
If you get a chance, and maybe an internal Slack channel or something, let them know about like egos here in the United States.
Egos, yes.
Yeah, Alex, why don't you tell the story again?
So Chris Cook used to apparently work for Adaptivist way back in his early days of the Atlassian ecosystem, right? And so he went and introduced me to his old team that was at Team 23 last year. And they're like, where do you live? And I was like, I live in San Diego. And they're like, what's a San Diego? It's like, it's supposed to be a sandy. Like
I get it. San Diego. Got it.
But they don't know what egos are because like they don't apparently have that over there. And it dawned on me that I was working with an international audience at that point.
Yeah, you can't just assume that people know what an ego is any more than people know what Bovril or Vegemite is. But just another fact
I think everyone knows what Vegemite is. I think that's infamous enough on its own.
I have no idea.
Maybe.
The words that just came out of his mouth don't exist in my life.
Nobody eats it here. So ego subject is they were invented in San Jose, just not more than a couple of miles from where I live. So maybe you should do a tour when you come up here and see the.
No, Robert, I'm just adding to your Alex Discovery series, okay?
Do you not know what Vegemite is?
I've never heard of these.
Oh, we talked about it 2 weeks ago. What's happened to your memory?
When?
Oh, I don't know. 3 weeks ago.
When we were together a month ago?
Matt, I have an international grocery store nearby. I will get some Vegemite to bring with me to Team 24. It will film Alex trying it.
What is a Vegemite, though?
Oh, it's a black, very salty umami paste, and you want to use it like as thin as wasabi. It's very strong.
Yeah.
But the problem is that I've never met an American who liked it.
I do like salty.
Oh, this is an acquired taste.
You can like salty, and this will be on another level.
Yeah, exactly. But you can even do the modern day version, which is you get the avocado toast with a little smear of Vegemite on top of it. It's
So why does
good.
it exist?
Because people
Oh,
like
the
it.
Australians love it.
Yeah,
Australians will not live without it.
It's great. It's very comfort food for me. If I'm, not feeling great, I'll have some toast and Bovril, Vegemite, Marmite, any one of them, and a bit of butter. Oh, just great. But yeah, we should get you on film trying it, and maybe some of that salty licorice. Have you tried any of that really Dutch, Scandinavian?
No,
You
but
know, I have
licorice
not
that
tried that myself.
makes
So
your
that might
mouth
be a
just-
both of us. That might be a both of us thing.
people might need to start bringing things to Team 24. Start bringing
What's it called?
whatever.
Jungle Vral? Jimmy has the word here. That's the
Jungle-
killer black licorice, right? Ammonium nitrate or whatever it is.
I'm gonna have to get a PO box for people to start sending me tweets.
You know, I've been debating getting a Jira Live PO box for a bit now.
Ooh.
I was at the post office last week, mailing something. I'm like, while I'm here, should I?
Should I?
Jungle Vral.
You
What
guys
does
are
that
funny.
translate to?
I'll start bringing in all the Mexican candies. Then I'll go hit up a nice little Mexican store, and then we'll bring all the Mexican candies to Team.
Actually, what you should do is food that you had as a kid, and now it's an acquired taste. You like root beer, right? I mean, only Americans drink root beer because to the rest of the world it tastes like
Garbage.
mouthwash.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah. So
I mean, I would say something, but I know under special permission from the Queen, Tabasco has been imported into the United Kingdom. And that's mine.
My childhood food, Matt, by the way, was contaminated with lead. I ate it. I've been eating my entire life. Never had a problem that I am aware of.
He says sitting down very heavily and looking a bit off on one side.
I attract metals to myself.
What was the childhood food that was full of metal?
So all the Mexican candies that have like a tamarindo in it, like a little spicy candy to it, they all had lead. So all the pelones, just pretty much anything with this tamarind type of.
I'm honestly not a fan of the Mexican tamarind candy. And it's like 95% of the candies I saw when I was down there.
That's all of our candies are spicy in that way. They're the spicy candy.
I think
It's delicious. I love it. I love all the
Do
Mexican
you like
candy.
the leaded or the unleaded version?
I'm telling you, I remember my AP, but I was like my senior year in high school when it came out that Mexican candies were contaminated with lead. I was like, oh shoot, it's been 17 years of this.
Wow.
It can't do any more harm than the gas did.
I'm totally fine. My wife and I, we just glow in the dark.
I mean, I grew up on Army base, so no comments.
No comments there. I will tell you, there's nothing unhealthier than Mexican food.
Oh, that's so good.
What was it? We were talking the other day, and I'm like, I got to prepare some gumbo, and you're like, what's that, Alex?
Oh yeah, I was like, what is the? We don't have gumbo.
No.
Oh, man.
So I want to ask, what are you two guys looking forward to with Team 24? I know you've got these wacky agenda items, but come on,
I'll
really,
tell you
what is it?
My team experience, or summit as it was back in the day, has been completely different since I've been an Atlassian creator.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, it felt like I could not take 2 or 3 steps before I was being stopped by someone to shake a hand or take a picture or do something. And I say that's not a complaint by any means. It was different. It was fun. What we do as creators can be very lonely at times because we're just in here creating content with cats down the world, and then people read it. But being there, part of it, because my day-to-day, I'm just some guy at the grocery store. Alex has a lot of the same experience from what I understand. It's only when we go to like a local ACE event or we go to team that we get recognized.
Right.
Yeah, no, and I'm going as myself this year, so I'm excited for that. It's my second teams. I don't know what I'm gonna do because last year I went to the conference with every intention of going to the sessions.
Yeah, how did that go?
And then I discovered not to do that. But then this year, I'm not going in with I haven't even looked at the content or the sessions or anything because I know I'm not going to go to any of them. But I don't know. I'm kind of overwhelmed with what I'm going to be doing because I am planning a little secret thing with Salto. And so we're going to be doing something I think pretty cool that we're really looking forward to.
You need to get on to your people because they still haven't reached out to me yet.
Yeah, I got to figure out what they did. But we're doing something pretty cool there, and I'm really, really excited for that. And that's and then we have a room potentially maybe that we're going to be doing interviews out of, right?
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah, that sounds 24/7 out of Vegas.
I'm not doing 24/7 live streams, but there will be a lot of video. So I got a bunch of stuff, equipment that we've been getting ready for here. So I got the wireless microphones, and I got a stand so I can be interviewing folks and just talking to people. I got some headphones, some mic stands, I ended up picking up the camera for the GoPro here too. So we got GoPro. So we're gonna be creating more content than Atlassian.
You've just got the toys there. That's
We're going to be wall to wall Jira Life almost the entire time.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I think we're gonna make it into a different, unique experience that Atlassian doesn't typically take.
Good.
And with Monday Coffee being out of the way, we're gonna be the only show in town.
Yeah, I mean, I miss Monday Coffee. Don't get me wrong, but with them gone, it's really just us.
Unless somebody tries to come and dethrone us.
I'm always reminded of thinking about being recognized. It was a few conferences ago, and this fellow came up, and he was like, "Oh, you're Matt Doar, I really liked your book." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." The Practical Jira Administration, which is dated now. And he said, "Yeah, it literally changed my life." And I'm like, "Wait, come on, it's a technical book about Jira. How did it change your life?" And he was like, "Well, they gave me the tool. They said, 'Here, Jira, you manage it now.' And then they gave him a copy of my book, his manager. So he read the book and he worked on it. And then, thank you. And then he was like, and now I run a team of 6 running Atlassian tools inside some big Scandinavian defense organization." And he was like, "Yeah, it's changed the direction my whole life went. And, now I think he said married with a family too." So
What was your writing experience like, Matt?
Brutal.
I mean,
I'd written one O'Reilly book back in 2004, and that was like, I write about 1 page a day total after it's all been reviewed and edited. So if you count the pages in a book, you can pretty much work out how long it takes me to write a book. But I was doing it at the same time as holding down another day job. So a lot of it was 3 a.m. start, work through till 9 a.m. and do the day job, then go home and sort of see the young family. And it wasn't a lot of sleep.
We're a couple of us here going through the book stuff, and I'll never do the book again. At least not through a publisher ever.
Yeah, I thought about that the second time round for the Jira books. Actually, it was right at the beginning of self-publishing, but I like the O'Reilly setup. They have the Git repo. You check in your DocBook XML, and it generates the PDFs and the EPUBs and whatever. It was very sweet. I don't think that they're really pushing their books that hard now because they haven't really made any money on books since the last generation.
Since they did their online portal.
Yeah,
they pushed that quite a bit.
Yeah, they get that, but the tough business. You make more money out of conferences, is what I've heard.
What do you mean?
It costs a lot more.
Like, them hosting their conferences?
Yeah, O'Reilly conferences are quite a bit more than the Atlassian team costs.
Ronnie, that gives me an idea. Maybe we should be hosting the Jira Live conference.
I think we just need to be able to get in the same place, not at an Atlassian conference first.
So I was talking with Mark Livingston, the San Diego ACE leader.
Yeah.
And he's like, it would be cool to do like a California massive Atlassian event, right? Get the LA, San Diego, San Jose, Mountain View, San Francisco.
Yeah.
Because it's just an hour flight
Yes.
down.
Yeah.
If they come in the morning, like fly the previous night or come that morning, do like an 8-hour thing and then fly out.
You'd have to do it somewhere like Disneyland or some property close to it.
I mean, I
So-
happen to live 20 minutes from Disneyland right now.
Oh, well, there you go. So your house, everybody over at your place.
Yeah. Ronnie seems to think that my house is big enough to host everybody.
Oh, come to Stockholm. I'll rent
I
the
mean, it's not
globe.
like you have
Oh,
to pay for
yes.
power, stealing it from your neighbor and all.
Don't steal power from my neighbor.
Oh, you
Did you-
stole. It's past tense. That's right.
Did you see that the copy of the O'Reilly book has been ripped off for AI training from the comments? That's
Look at that.
very interesting to know. I'll make sure I forward that comment to my lawyer at O'Reilly. Kidding.
I'm still hoping. I know the rumor is that this is last year. Team will be in Las Vegas, and we'll see if that's the case or not.
Yeah.
I'm still hoping for an Atlanta because Atlassian at Atlanta just makes sense to me.
So does Atlas and Atlassian. And
What
it's just
I've
a
heard
conflictor.
is how easy is it for people to get direct flights to the main airport near wherever the convention center is? So
I mean, can you beat Atlanta then?
Yeah,
probably
LAX.
not. That's true. Atlanta, you could,
LAX
but
is
it's
more beatable, I think.
I don't know. I mean, I would go for San Jose. I thought it was great when it was in San Jose for some
I
reason.
mean, I loved it when it was in San Jose. I went
10
twice.
minutes from it. Yeah.
I mean, I think San Jose would work because the internationals could land at SFO and it's just what, like a 45-minute drive down.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure we've deviated sufficiently from the agenda that I've completely forgotten whether there was other stuff that you guys wanted to make sure.
Well, we got a
I
few
mean-
minutes left and we got a quiz
Okay,
let
alright.
thingy coming, but that's the only thing that's.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, that's right. The dreaded Quizlet.
Yeah, I mean, you've been part of the Peanut Gallery. You know what's coming up.
I do. You can
And
see
you
me
don't know-
quaking here.
And
You
you
missed
don't
that
know which
Hawaiian-
questions we're going to ask this week.
No. Well, I'm going to ask you one question just to, you might have to bleep this bit out later on for suitable family-friendly stuff. But did you hear what happened to an attendee at the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas a few months ago?
An attendee, like somebody at the Venetian?
Somebody at a conference at the Venetian, and it was a man. And we know it was a man because it was reported that he got bitten by a scorpion in his room.
I can see that.
Have you
I
seen
mean,
this?
it's a desert.
No, what
Yeah.
you need to know is where he got bitten.
Uh-oh.
Think intimate places. And apparently the hotel didn't comp him his room, even though there was a scorpion in his room and he got bitten in the nether regions.
So, folks, check your rooms when you check
Your
in.
nether regions. Okay. I just had to get that out
Check
there.
your
The
scorpion detection systems.
public
maybe
warning.
we'll-
Remember,
bring-
scorpions glow in black light, so
Do they now?
they do.
I'm pretty
You
sure
may
if
not
you go
want
to
the black
Vegas-
light for other reasons, but
not to
you
keep
know,
the show not PG-13, but I'm sure if you take a black light to Las Vegas into a hotel room, you're gonna find some other stuff.
Okay, quick. Ask me some other questions.
Let's leave it at that.
all right. So, Matt Doar, you're Jeremigo. You know how this works. 5 questions, A or B answers. Let's begin. First one: coffee or tea?
Coffee,
Really?
never tea.
Why do you got a
Definitely.
stereotype like that, Rodney?
Why do you
Because
think
I
I left?
drink tea.
Why do you think I left the UK? They threw me out.
You-
I
To be
don't get why
fair.
people drink hot water.
It's hot leaf juice. Get it right.
It's
I
tasteless
love my coffee now.
water. But I don't drink either, so
All right. So next one: Scrum or Kanban?
Both.
Both.
how can you be both?
Both
can't be
as
both.
it
You gotta
fits the
explain that.
situation. Whatever makes people helpful and feel helped and happy.
I mean, have we done worse, Alex?
I don't know. I think we should make him pick one.
All right. If you have
If you
items of
were
work that
facing
Or
are-
a
your
scorpion
team.
dead
Or your
on.
team.
if you have items of work that are similar sized, then Kanban is a useful approach. If they're wildly dissimilar in the amount of work, then I'd look towards something like Scrum.
There we go.
All right.
Better answer.
All right. So this one you're not getting out of. iOS or Android?
Oh, iOS all the time. It's we're an
Easily,
Apple
hands
family.
down. There's no comparison, Ronnie.
Where is it? There it is.
There you go.
You guys are just buying into the monopoly.
It's not a monopoly when you make a far superior product.
I
Is
value
it really superior
no,
though,
it's
or
because
just get the opinion?
I
of
value
it's
my
superior?
maintenance time. Back when we were all a Windows shop 20 years ago, the whole family and I was the IT guy. I spent a lot more time, reinstalling operating systems and all that kind of junk that comes with it. So no, I'll just go with the Apple just for the reduced maintenance effort.
I mean, fair enough. I recommend Apple to my family members who I don't want to help, so that's fair.
Because the thing's just gonna work.
I don't do IT help for my family anymore. None of them. What I do instead is I volunteer at a local library for senior IT help as a sort of ethical compensation or moral compensation.
So
no IT families.
Next question. This one is courtesy of our own Alex Ortiz here. Yes or no, is renaming an existing status in Jira, a fireable offense?
Did it have any impact? Did you inconvenience your colleagues? Yes. In that case, it's a strict, stiff discussion with an admin. Yes.
Renaming in progress. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's going to break something. So that's, well, actually, no. I think the discussion to have is how did that person get Jira admin permission to do the renaming? There's the problem.
But it's a very harmless thing, right? Like it's very easy to change it.
Certainly is. Yeah.
And Jira, to add insult to injury, Jira makes you feel like you're only making the change in that workflow.
Yeah, but it's, I'm driving down the freeway. It's easy to step on the accelerator instead of the brake. It's very simple interface, but I'm trained. I've been past licenses and all that kind of stuff, so I don't do stuff like that.
Hey, look, I'm all for firing them, so I might argue.
The question is, are you going to beat them on the way out, or are you just going to let them leave?
That's really Alex's question. That's his version of the question. All right, so that's 4. Number 5 is probably the most troublesome yet. We are talking about the movable image file. Is it a GIF or a GIF?
Oh gosh, it's a GIF. Absolutely. Graphics, GIF.
I still think that's the wrong answer because I think the right answer.
You think all your life, but I've been around for even longer than you. We always said GIF, so you know what? It's GIF.
I think the real correct answer is to alternate everyone, so you tick off everyone.
Yeah.
No, I love.
You remember that suggestion that Atlassian should rename the on-prem product from Jira? They should now call it Jira, because then it makes it clearer that there's 2 different products in play, right? There's Jira in the cloud and Jira on-prem, and but
no, they really should just rename it to Zilla. You got Jira and Zilla.
Well, that's another topic of one of my favorite rants is Atlassian product names. Oh my goodness. How can you call your product data center when it's like, no, a data center is a big building with no windows, and calling it Jira software. I'm like, so you've got software that's Jira software, or Jira software that's software?
Me trying to explain Jira software to people is the most complex thing in the world. They're like, we're not writing software and we need Jira. I'm like, I know, but you don't need Jira because there's different Jiras. You need Jira software.
I think they're just doing it to mess with the entire ecosystem. It's just like, well, what wacky names can we come up with that will make people go, what?
It's Atlassian. We all know if we wait enough time, they're going to change the name anyways.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. That's like my view on the UI changes. I no longer jump up and down because it's like teenage fashion. You wait next year and there'll be a whole new set of clothes. And,
so they screw you over with their UI changes.
Well,
like I say, Compass names coming from, or component names coming from Compass, and if you don't have Compass, you're screwed.
Now, I did actually think that was a very strange use of components. There's an existing feature that people know and have set up in Jira, and then suddenly it's hijacked to go and work with this new product
that nobody has.
An odd way. We
gotta figure out some way to get people onto the new product.
Interesting tactic.
I get a feeling there's a lot that Atlassian sometimes does to force people onto a new product that's not doing well.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's called sales, isn't it? I mean, that's their job to do that. The big question that you're really alluding to underneath is how long is data center going to be around, I think. And my answer is still, so long as it makes money.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Think
I've got
about it.
opinions on that.
Well, they're making sure they make money off of it, right? Because now it costs 2 arms and 2 legs and half a kidney.
And your
Yeah.
firstborn.
Yeah.
And your firstborn.
And your firstborn.
4 more years, you reckon, Jimmy? Well, could be, at least.
You know what? Goals is this comment here from Jimmy here. Like goals just popping up in the UI has created more chaos for me than it has helped. Because now I have to explain to people that we don't use Atlas because that's a whole different product.
Wait, goals.
Goals is right there. They just stuck it right in there, in the left side of the navigation bar of a company managed project.
Oh, that thing. Yeah. No.
And then everybody I work with is like, well, what's a goal? How do we do this? I want to use this. I'm like, don't even get me started with this one. I'm not ready to deploy Atlas enterprise-wide.
Yeah, I mean, there are some things that are going in the right direction, right? The unification of the team concept across.
That's the worst idea Atlassian did.
But it had to happen because you couldn't have separate teams defined in every little tiny Atlassian tool.
No, I get that they should have been unified, but the way that they did it, they screwed me over so badly they deleted my teams.
Yeah. So
and I get, but and then now I like the unification, but they did it at the org level, which means we have multiple Jiras, multiple Confluences, multiple versions of all these enterprise tools. Then they all got blobbed together.
I mean, they made an assumption that an organization would all want to work together within that organization.
Correct. And the problem that I'm having is I have different site admins for the various sites within the single org that are not org admins, but they're site admins. And now those homies can go and delete some other site's teams. And now my teams are being deleted because they're like, I don't recognize this team, and they delete it. And now I have teams that actually depend on the team functionality to drive their boards and their advanced roadmaps and everything. And now all of a sudden, like, they're all broken. So guess what? I've been working for the last 3 weeks, getting my team up, getting your team off a team. Now we're using a custom team field because the main team field is completely useless to me now.
Wow. So I'm surprised you didn't go through some massive, painful team renaming exercise where each of the teams gets a prefix that says, so-and-so's team.
No, because
with this.
Atlassian reached out to me in November of last year telling me about this idiotic idea that they had, and I told them leave my Jira alone.
Yeah, collateral damage.
Not do that.
So the other good thing that Atlassian has done is rationalize the whole hierarchy. Is it Epic Link, Parent Link?
That's the one thing that works now. That is just parent-children.
Yeah.
But it took 2 years to get there.
Yeah, understandable. There's a lot of moving bits underneath the covers there, but at least they went in that right direction.
They promised there for 2 years that it's going to be done in the next month. In 24 months later.
I hear there's this tool that can really help you manage your software project and set expectations better, but wait, that is Jira. Yeah.
Unless you were here for last week's episode where Yimi and I are going to make Jira 2.0.
2.0. Ooh.
We're going to
I installed Jira 10 yesterday, so it's not that different yet so far.
I guess maybe bad naming, but I'm creating
a coalition. I keep telling you to name it Mothra. If you're going to go up against Jira, it has to be Mothra.
Mothra, yeah.
We're creating the next version, the next iteration.
And what was it? What were you going to call it? I did hear.
Mothra, right? Or whatever this guy's saying.
No, because then is it Mothra or Mothra? You've introduced ambiguity.
I wanted to call it Kong. Because Jira's after Godzilla.
Is it Kong or Kong? I mean, that's just not clear from a marketing point of view.
No, because Jira's from Godzilla. I want to do the Japanese version of Kong, so whatever that was.
No, all I've really learned in 20 years from Atlassian is that you should never name your product, never name it with a J, because that's the most differently pronounced letter in every language on earth, it seems. So
I found out that Lululemon, the founder, picked as many L's that he could pick because of the Japanese count. The L doesn't exist in their language, and he did it to aggravate them.
Oh, that's brutal.
Right.
Oh man.
But then they did it because of the prestige, because they can't pronounce it, so they put it like higher on the pedestal of like the brand prestige.
Oh, that's really twisted. I had
Yeah,
not heard that story.
Yeah.
Wow.
So maybe not a lot of L's, but we're doing something. I'm creating a team. So if you want to join us, Matt,
Actually, that sounds like an excellent spoof submission for next year's team. You should be like, the next Jira next generation, or whatever the phrase that we use now.
the next generation.
The vision.
Yeah. Jira, that would be something that Atlassian would come out with, like Jira NG.
No. It's going to be like, well, actually, I've heard one name. I'm not sure I could repeat publicly yet, but it made me laugh. And if that really was the name that's coming up, you've definitely got something to look forward to when it comes out.
Look at that. I'm pretty sure between Sean, Jimmy, and Matt, and maybe Bob over here, we'll make the next gen. Maybe William can just like do it all for us with his AI models that he's building.
Yes, of course, by then.
All right, folks, we're definitely way over time.
Good.
Yep.
Ronnie, thank you.
Yep.
Matt, OG,
excellent.
hats off. Can't
Lovely
wait
to
see
chat.
See you in a month.
See you there. Bye all.
See you guys. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Jira Life. Our hosts are Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz, and Rodney, the Jira Guy, Nissen. You can find Alex on YouTube at 8Tech Tutorials, and Rodney's blog is found over at thejiraguy.com. Our producers are Robert King Bob Wen and Lena Ortiz. You can catch us live as we record this podcast every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at The Jira Life. Be sure to join us and our other Jira amigos of the Peanut Gallery every week to ask your questions, let us know your comments, and just tell us what you're up to. But if you can't join us live, you can still catch the replay over on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell while you're watching. We're also available as a podcast over on Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you listen to it and think it deserves a rating, we would very much appreciate it, as it will help others discover the Jira Life. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life. The Jira Life chose us.